Hey, what's good, y'all? It's Clutch City Entertainment back with another video, and today we're going to be going over our mock draft 4.0. So there's things swirling around over the Texans, and we figured that we make a kind of little draft plan to tell y'all what may happen with the Texans. So in the third round, I'm predicting the Texans will go with the wide receiver. Not exactly sure who they'll go with, but we're going to be looking at potential candidates for the receivers in the draft and the mock draft, and we'll be making a future video about possible receiver prospects. In the fourth round, I'm thinking they're going to go cornerback or safety, kind of to add depth there to the people they have. And then in the fifth round, I feel like they'll try to make a upgraded tight end and possibly fill in a gap at the offensive line, maybe at the left guard or right guard spot. And then the sixth round, I'm thinking they're going to get a running back or offensive lineman, another running back, kind of just to add an infusion of youth with all the kind of old running backs we have. Other than Philip Lindsay, I think Philip Lindsay will be great. Could be the future running back for the Texans for a while. But still, they're going to need another young running back in the backfield. Also see them adding more depth to the offensive line. It could be from the tackle position, could be from the guard position. And then in the seventh round, I believe they have 2 picks, and they're just going to go with the best player available there to add more talent.
Yep, and I feel like that's just like the general strategy. Like, at least go best player available because we do need like young talent at all positions, really. So it wouldn't hurt to go best player available for the most part. So, all right, so let's go ahead and get started. We're going to be using the Draft Network's mock draft, and yeah, let's get started. All right, so as we know, that the Texans have our first pick is round 3 at pick 67. There have been some rumors of us trading up or trading down is also a possibility, of course, but yeah, that's just one of the scenarios that could happen. Nick Caserio sees a guy that he likes that's falling quite a bit. He might go a little bit up to go get him.
And keep in mind, the Texans currently do have 6 round picks, and with a total of 3 of them, and they could possibly move up into the draft, maybe into the late second round with those picks, or they could, even go farther back and they could add more picks to the amount of 8 that they have right now.
Joseph Osai was there.
Yeah, so basing off the draft plan that we mentioned earlier, it seems like the Texans might go for wide receiver first. And Nico Collins has been one of those guys who have kind of been like predicted in that same area that we're in, maybe like late second, early third. So what do y'all think about Nico Collins?
Personally, I think he'd be a great number 2 to the side of Brandon Cooks. Brandon Cooks is on the smaller side, shifty kind of guy, deep threat. Nico Collins is a physical receiver. He's 6'4" from Michigan. Will be a fantastic red zone threat. Will take a lot of pressure and attention off of Brandon Cooks because with Will Fuller gone, our number 1 guy is by far Brandon Cooks, and we're going to need more options. Nico Collins has lots and lots of potential with his measurables that he has.
Yeah, he's a good.
Yeah, he did opt out for the 2020 college football season. So there is a little uncertainty there on how his ball skills or how he will perform after like a 1 year removed from college. But yeah, what were you saying?
Yeah, he's a good 50-50 ball. He's a good physical receiver. He's tall, like Drew was saying. He has the length, the measurables, all of that. And then about the red zone thing, yeah, he would primarily be our number 1 red zone target. He would probably lead us in like pretty much touchdowns if we were to draft him. So yeah, he'll be a very good receiver option for us to draft.
And now for a second, I want to go over Monroe St. Brown, who I also see is there. Monroe St. Brown is 6'1", about 200 pounds, and he is a very interesting prospect. He isn't the explosive deep threat that you see in the players like Jalen Waddle or Devonta Smith, but in my opinion, he's the best receiver on that board that we see right now. He has first-round talent. He was great in the red zone at USC, and his best trait is his elite route running. He has great hands. So I feel like he would also be a great deep threat alongside Brandon Cooks. It can kind of be similar to what you saw with Antonio Brown in Pittsburgh with Juju Smith-Schuster, as I feel like Monroe St. Brown can move around the field, play slot, play outside, take a lot of attention off, and I think he'd be very productive, and that he'll have a sneaky good year in his first season.
Yeah, it seems like he has very good, like in his profile, in this limited draft profile that we see from him, they don't mention any negatives. Obviously, with every prospect, there are some cons, but the draft network didn't mention really any negatives, that he's a guy with really good body control, athleticism, agility as a route runner, and makes contested catch situations, which we definitely need after trading, DeAndre Hopkins, who excelled in that area. So I would like Amon St. Brown or Nico Collins, kind of a personal preference at this point. So, so what y'all thinking with? I know Drew, you said Amon-Ra St. Brown, but what are you thinking?
Oh yeah, 100% would go with Amon-Ra St. Brown. I feel like he has the talent there, and while Nico Collins is very, very intriguing, I would say Amon-Ra St. Brown has a more put together game. The one thing that limits him the most is his speed. I think he only ran like a 4.6, maybe 4.5 in the middle of that. But I feel like you don't need a guy anymore to take the top off of the field when you can kind of get certain guys to do that. Yeah, Brandon Cooks, you have Kiki Kuti. They will take the top off of you. And Amon-Ra St. Brown can get open. He's creative, and he will be very, very productive for any team that he lands with.
All right, so without further ado, let's draft Amon-Ra St. Brown. He does have a very cool name, so that's a bonus. But yeah, I really like that pick, Amon-Ra St. Brown. I think he's definitely wide receiver is definitely like a top 2, top 3 need that we have. Like we still have old guys like Randall Cobb. Like who knows if he's under future plans, and then Brandon Cooks, who does have that concussion history. He was fully healthy last season, but you never know, right? So it's always good to pick up a young wide receiver. And so now we're up in the 4th round at pick 109. So let's look at the top names right here. So according to your draft prediction or whatever, what position did you say for 4th round again?
So for the 4th round, I'm thinking the Texans look at cornerbacks and safeties. Preferably, I would go with a cornerback that is above 6'2" and has long arms and can play in the cover 2 system that Lovie Smith can get. Someone who's going to be able to mature in that system and fit the best. Well, because it's a new system and no one's really familiar with it. But a guy with perfect measurables will develop a lot faster in that.
So for cornerback, I see some guys who we can probably wait on drafting. That I guess your Kerry Vincent's, your Ambry Thomas's. I think he can wait on. What do you? I think let's take a look at safety real quick. You do have Andre Cisco, who is obviously, as a lot of people have mentioned, is kind of a boom or bust player, kind of a ball hawk freelancer. If you saw our safety prospects video, you probably know more about him. So what do y'all think? There are some more interesting safety prospects, in my opinion, at this point than cornerback.
I would have to agree. There's a lot of depth in this safety class, and I feel like the cornerback class is kind of hit or miss. You have certain guys you like and certain guys you don't like at all. And obviously, you talked about Cisco. He's a really good playmaker. He's going to kind of be what Lovie Smith wants, though. Lovie Smith wants a ball hawk, a guy that can get his turnovers that he's been asking for. He can get interceptions. He can fly around the field. But he's going to have to mature. He's a little sloppy. He's not very good at tackling. He's not good at man coverage at all, but that's okay. He's going to be in a system where he can learn and develop. But let's also take a look at some of the cornerback prospects one more time and see what options we have there. So I see that we have Israel Okumu, who we also included in the video earlier about cornerback prospects. And if you could check his height real quick, I want to see what that says. But
6'3".
Yeah, so exactly right there. That is what I think Nick Caserio is looking for in his cornerbacks. Even though, we signed Terrence Mitchell, I know he's only 5'11", but he's an aggressive type player. And the South Carolina corners love to play aggressive. They got in trouble for it a lot. And in the NFL, they're going to have to learn. So in my opinion, the best pick here would be Israel from South Carolina. Maybe it's a little bit of a reach, but it's a perfect fit in Houston for him in the Tampa 2 system. And what are y'all's thoughts on this?
Yeah, so it seems like he's a guy who was he was ranked higher a few years ago, but he kind of dropped since his production last year wasn't as great compared to his 2018 or 2019 stats or production. But I still like if you have guys that were initially projected to go in those early 1st or 2nd rounds, and if they do fall to round 4, you definitely should kind of take a chance on him. And he does have those measurables like you mentioned, and the scheme fit according to the draft network is zone, which is Tampa 2. So I feel like I like his descriptions: long, athletic, rangy, and physical. That's definitely kind of the mentality we need on the mentality and like skill sets that we need. Guys who aren't afraid to like tackle. That's kind of one of the big issues that we've had is tackling issues, and hopefully Israel Mukamu can kind of switch that up. Switch that kind of previous history of not doing good tackling here if he was drafted. So I like Israel Mukamu here, and then safety we can probably kind of shoot for in the later rounds. So I like that. All right, so let's go ahead and draft Israel Mukamu, and yeah, looking good so far. So we got Monroe, St. Brown, Israel Mukamu, and let's see. So what'd you say the position for 5th round is?
So I've been hearing a little chatter about the Texans wanting to upgrade the tight end position, kind of find another blocking tight end, kind of go along with the power scheme that they've been kind of hinting at here and there with their linemen, their running backs. So maybe we can find one like that. But also, I would like to look at the best offensive guard available. I think that would be very important for the Texans to do here. And I see Trey Hill from Georgia. Trey Hill played in the SEC, and that's what I love. I love those SEC linemen. They're always ready and aggressive, and they got a very strong run game, and they're always going up against the best competition.
Yeah, he's kind of a big dude, 330 at 6'3". You kind of need that kind of like size on your line, So seems like he is a swing interior O line and good for a power running scheme. And I feel like that's what the Texans are mostly going to run, kind of with the indication of Mark Ingram, who does most of that. And I feel like we're going to be mainly a running offense with Deshaun Watson's future up in the air. So like if Tyrod Taylor is back at the helm, mainly, and you have that 3-headed monster in David Johnson, Phillip Lindsay, Mark Ingram, then it wouldn't be bad to invest in a guy who is probably best suited for a run scheme. So I like Trey Hill here. He's obviously the highest ranked inside O line. So I definitely wouldn't mind Trey Hill.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that size, like you said, is very, very important. It doesn't look like we're playing much of a zone scheme. If anything, it'll be outside zone. And I wouldn't necessarily be the best fit for Trey Hill, as you mentioned. But power run, he would be absolutely perfect for that. And another thing for a guy that had some mistakes in college is a perfect scheme fit. Kind of like I mentioned earlier with Israel, the corner from South Carolina. They need to be comfortable. They're coming to the NFL from playing college football with, some talent, but it's not the NFL. They're going to need to be in a great situation, and that's what the Texans can provide for Trey Hill. They can show him a scheme, they can hand him the ropes, and he can just dominate in the run. And as with the concerns over Deshaun Watson and Tyrod Taylor being our quarterback, possibly the run is going to be very, very important if we want to have any success at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there are some interesting names like Jack Anderson from Texas Tech, who we could draft later on if we didn't choose Trey Hill. But honestly, it's also important to get a guy to, like, the trenches is how you win for the most part. So, like, obviously, if you solidify that, just imagine our line. Like, you have Tunsil, you have maybe Trey Hill or Sharping or I don't know, Lane Taylor competing for the left guard position. And then you have Justin Britt at center, or maybe Trey Hill can go to center too. Who knows? And then Marcus Cannon right guard, Titus Howard at right tackle. That's a really good O line. I'd say like that's a top maybe eight O line. Maybe that's being a little optimistic, but we do have really, really good players, and so I feel like it would be kind of the best in our future interest. Maybe not right now. It might not seem like the sexiest pick, obviously, but this inside O line class is pretty kind of slept on this year. So I think we should definitely go with inside O-line. The tight end prospects that I kind of mentioned weren't too like they didn't stand out too much. So yeah, I would definitely go inside O-line, like you said.
Absolutely. There wasn't necessarily the guys I wanted at tight end, and that's okay. That's going to happen in all drafts. But when you can possibly upgrade for the future, right guard and Trey, I think also play a little center at Georgia. I think that's great for us. And he can kind of just come in whenever he needs to. That'd be great depth too.
Yeah, so now we landed on our second 5th round pick at pick 158. So what did you think that the Texans would do here?
I do believe I also mentioned possibly adding more offensive line depth, but since we did skip out on a tight end this round, we could look at tight ends again. We can also look at the D line too. Would love to upgrade at defensive tackle, especially at the one tech position with a great run stuffer.
So you do have some interesting guys here. You have Tonga, who for BYU, who's an early down nose tackle. And then you have Bobby Brown, who we've mocked on our team in the past few times, I think. I think I really like Bobby Brown, 6'4", 315. So kind of bringing that. So yeah, pretty good size for his position. So what do you think here? I don't think tight end.
Is
I don't.
yeah.
Yeah, I think we should just skip out on tight end and just. I mean, maybe like kind of trust our guys. I know Akins is like nearing 30, and then you have Kale Waring, who some people are still high on about, some people aren't, but he barely got any snaps last season. Like he only played like in the Lions game or something, and then like some other game, but he barely played at all, so he didn't really get a chance to really show his skill set. So maybe Kale Waring takes that jump. Who knows? And I mean, you still have Pharaoh Brown on the team. You have Ryan Izzo. So like our tight end room isn't too like old in a sense. Obviously, you still want good talent there, and those guys are still a bit of a question marks. Ryan Izzo and Pharaoh Brown kind of being more so apparently blocking tight ends, but Pharaoh Brown had some good flashes in the receiving game as well. So I feel like we could probably kind of skip out on tight end for now. Maybe next draft we'll address it if things don't work out. So I think inside D-line might be the move here.
Absolutely. I'm actually a really big fan of our tight end room at the moment. I have a little fandom for Ryan Izzo. I don't know if you guys watched the Ryan Izzo video earlier that we made when we first got him, but he, like Pharaoh Brown, has showed the ability to actually do good at multiple things. Both are great blockers, and then Ryan Izzo has flashed a little bit in the vertical passing game, but he didn't, get much attention in New England with mostly a run scheme and lack of opportunity. And I would love to see him get lots of playing time. Like a Kale Waring could be kind of that receiving third tight end. So overall, very, very good. And I think we can also take a look at Darius Stills from West Virginia at the D-line position. I've heard him going in the third round in many, many drafts. So let's take a look at him. And he is
281.
Now I will say that is very small. It's more of a 3-4 DN kind of feel for me, in my opinion. So with the Texans kind of already good at the DN spot, and with the 4-3, I would think the guys to target would be like Tonga, Bobby Brown, and players like that above the 310-pound kind of.
Yeah, I feel like Darius still, he like according to the Trade Draft Network, he's ranked 291. So if we still like him, like maybe late in the 7th, and he's probably might still be there, then we can definitely pick him up. I mean, in some of the mock drafts that I've done, he's been there pretty late. So I don't know, obviously, how accurate Trade Draft Network is. I feel like it's a pretty good estimate. Obviously, it won't be like pretty, like you never know because the draft is always a question mark every year. So you never know how like the cards go. But
everybody has like their different boards. There's lots of different opinions, so it's kind of hard to judge. But we're okay with the board that we see right now.
Yeah. So I like Tonga or Bobby Brown. Tonga, I like what I've read so far. He's really difficult to single block, like from an offensive standpoint, and so like he does need help being consistent at disengaging quickly. But I feel like that's something that you can teach. You try to see like what they do good at and like see if their flaws are teachable things. Like or is that like something consistently that they're being bad at that is like kind of beyond repair in a sense. But like obviously coaching can go a long way, and I feel like James Campen. Oh, sorry, this is D-line. Sorry, my bad. But I feel like our coaching this year has obviously improved, and so so Tonga looks pretty good to me. I like Bobby Brown too. So what are you thinking?
So I think the Texans kind of need to go with Tonga here. More of a clear-cut run stuffer. We already have the 3-tech kind of planned out with Monroe and Blacklock and Nico Collins coming from the Raiders as well. So to get a guy that is really good at just those one block, run stopping kind of plays, just plug him in and play at certain moments when you're going to need him. And this is the 5th round, keep in mind, because the Texans have many good picks this year. But that's great value for a run stuffer of his production. I think that'd be a great fit for the Texans.
Yeah, and he's 6'4", 322 pounds, so obviously a big dude. And so let's go ahead and draft Tonga. And I like our draft so far. We got Monroe Brown, Israel Mukamu at cornerback, Trey Hill at inside O-line, and Chris Tonga. Kyrie. I don't know how to say his first name. Tonga. And yeah, I like our draft so far. I think it's something definitely that the Texans would do. And all right, so now we're in the 6th round where we have 3 draft picks. So what position do you think the Texans target in this round?
Right now, I would say it's going to vary. It could be a quarterback, it could be a running back, it could be another receiver. I'm kind of thinking best player available here We did not draft a safety yet, though, so is actually would be very important for the first pick of the 6th round to go towards a safety. So if we could take a look at everybody we see there.
I like
We see
Paris
some-
so
Yes. Yeah.
yeah, we did make a video, like did include him in a video. Obviously, he's been a guy who's been like just reiterating what we said earlier, a guy who's been predicted to go as high as like the 2nd round or something, or maybe even higher to like maybe like late in the 6th. So it's pretty crazy. Like this guy is very, very boom and bust. So, but if we get him in the 6th round, I definitely wouldn't mind him at this position for sure.
Absolutely. I think he best fits in kind of a zone situation. He was known to be kind of a big playmaker at Pitt, where they've had a really good defense in their past years. He was a big piece of that defense, but he took a big hit. I think I've talked about this a couple of times now, but he was really going to be picked in the 2nd round, just about, in my opinion, before his pro day when he ran a 4.49 40, which you know that's close to the times that the big offensive linemen run. Mac Jones ran a 4.8, so it's obviously a massive concern. And speed isn't something you can really teach either. He's going to have to work on that. But I think the value is there in the 6th round. The talent is there. And I feel like he's worth giving him a shot.
Yeah, I mean, most of the times in the NFL, you're not really going to be running like completely in a straight line. You're obviously moving in so many directions, and he does have that fluidity and like urgency to really make that decision to kind of like catch up with whoever is beating them off the top or whatnot. So I feel like if we see in his in-game speed, if he hasn't had those speed concerns during his play in his film, then I feel like it shouldn't be too much of a concern of a low 40 time. So I feel like I would like Paris Ford at this position. So let's go ahead and draft Paris Ford. So yeah, so we address cornerback, inside D-line, and safety, while also addressing wide receiver and inside O-line. And so far, it looks like we are missing some edge and tight end. Obviously, I feel like tight end probably not worth targeting at this point.
Right, yes.
But
I would say right now, best player available is very important.
Mm-hmm.
Best players I see right now is Shaka Toney, Cornell Powell. And I actually watched a video the other day on Fahoku from Stanford. He's a really, really good red zone threat. He was very dominant at the catch point and kind of, he was insane actually.
Yeah,
he's very physical.
Yep. I really like Fahoku, and he can kind of be a tight end if you wanted to. Like he's 6'4",
there you go.
7, and and like we said, we wanted to get a tight end a little earlier, and I feel like his skill set you could kind of transform him into a tight end. Like if you watch his highlight reel, it's amazing. Like I don't know, but I like what I saw from Simi, and I think he could be really good. Another Stanford guy, maybe Justin Reed could have enjoyed that pick.
But like you said, Fahoku, it's very impressive. He's not the great athlete, so you would think actually maybe the tight end would be great. Obviously at 227, maybe you want to move up to at least 240. I don't know exactly how hard that is. I'm not an NFL athlete, so you'd have to ask him himself. But 6'4" is good height. Tight end wise, he's fantastic in the red zone, like I mentioned. Great catch in traffic. Controls his body so well and gets open there. But lots of Texans fans love Cornell Powell, as we know. He's a great blocking receiver, very fit, very aggressive. Kind of finds ways to get open too. Very creative in his game, and there's lots of potential.
Yeah, I feel like I wouldn't mind Cornell or Simi at this point. Shaka Toney too is pretty good for edge, so it's really like who you really want. I don't know. I guess it really depends on the Texans draft board. But for us, I don't know. I'm like kind of high on Simi than some other people maybe. But
all right. So personally, I'm thinking since I see Shaka Toney a little higher up on the board, and I see that we have a pick that's literally like 9 picks later, I really want to go with Shaka Toney now because I feel like that's low risk, high reward. This is the 6th round. Shaka Toney was also another guy I've seen go in the 2nd or 3rd round, and that's a lot of value. coming all the way from the 6th round, and we can kind of go whichever way we want with 3 6th-round picks. I think that'd be excellent on the edge.
For sure. And whoever's left at 212, either Cornell Powell, Simi, or maybe both, we'll just choose from there. But yeah, I like Shaka Tony here right now. And then we can go ahead and see. Let's see.
Just gotta hope. Let's see.
Okay, so we have both.
We got both of them.
And there's also a Shai Smith too, who some people are pretty high on. But yeah.
He's a slow receiver, so we're gonna have to pass on that one.
Yeah, so who should we go for, Simi or Cornell? I feel like since we already kind of got a wide receiver, it might be good to get a guy who could potentially convert into a tight end in Simi. I mean, I really love Cornell Powell. Some people are claiming him to be the next Hopkins or something.
Well, I mean, that's a little bit of a stretch.
High expectation, but it's good to be optimistic about certain guys. It just makes you hype about the draft. But I don't know. I like Simi here. What do you think?
Me too. I think, as weird as it may be to say, yeah, you're gonna play tight end for us, I think it's legitimately possible. And I know these Patriots guys, they love versatility. I think he brings kind of just that. You don't really see actual receivers at 227 really at all. And most receivers, you'll see them at 200, 210 is their maximum. Devonta Smith right now is at 166. That's really unique that he's even at 227 and playing receiver. So that's a ton of strength. If you don't know what that means, that's insane. And I think that measurable right there kind of stands out to me and kind of says, in the 6th round, I would love to draft him.
All right, so let's go ahead and draft Simi Fehoko. And yeah, I think that was pretty good so far. We addressed edge, we addressed pretty much all the spots on the defense except linebacker. There could be an area that we could target. What do you predict in the 7th round?
7th round, I would have to go with running back based on my prediction for the 6th round, and we didn't draft a running back, so then there's tons of depth at running back this year. And I already see Jared Patterson. If you've ever looked at Texans Thoughts tweets or Jordan's tweets on Twitter, he loves Jared Patterson. I think he had like a 7-touchdown game.
Yeah.
And he's really good. And even though he played lower competition, I think he could be really good, kind of split back, put him side to side, run some routes. I really like his game.
Yeah, I also looked into guys like Garrett Dokes and CJ Maribel who looked really good on film, from what I saw. And so I feel like I wouldn't mind those two either. I feel like those guys would be really, really good too. And CJ Maribel obviously didn't play against the greatest competition, being in Coastal Carolina. But just quickly look at his stats. 5'10", 190, but he showed so much burst. Jared Patterson in that same regard too. So I feel like the popular pick here would be Jared Patterson, of course, because of that name recognition. But Garrett Dokes and CJ Maribel could be really good guys in the future, I feel like, from what I saw. But yeah.
Yeah, I haven't heard much about Jared Dokes, so if you want to describe to me his game a little bit to intrigue me a little bit.
Yeah, so in this draft profile, as you can see, he has a lot of quickness and elusiveness for a bigger back, but he does have that injury history that kind of dropped him down for a bit. But he was very aggressive. I think there's so many times where punched, really good at churning those yards in a sense too. He can be a guy who can good at going inside and whatnot, or going on outside zones as well. So I feel like Dokes could be really good here, but I feel like Jared Patterson, I would like Jared Patterson too. I feel like both guys are going to be good in the future. But yeah, I feel like since both of us know Jared Patterson better and more familiar with that, I feel like that would be the pick. So let's just go ahead and get Patterson. And yeah, we have, I think that was our last
Maybe one more pick. Let's see.
No, that was our last.
That's it.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah. So I think that was a pretty interesting draft. I think I like it. It's pretty solid.
Absolutely.
And so yeah, just quickly going over it, we got Monroe St. Brown, Israel Mukamu, Trey Hill, Kyrie Tonga, Paris Ford, Shaka Tony, Simi Fehoko, and Jared Patterson. I think that's really, really good. I'd give it an A in my opinion. But yeah.
Absolutely. I feel like we kind of followed our plan pretty well. We got the receiver we wanted, or the receiver I wanted in that case. I'm sure most fans can get on with that pick. He's a really talented And then we got our corner, great scheme fit. Trey Hill, another great scheme fit. Tonga, another guy who, if he does his job correctly, like I think he will, he would be awesome with side to side with all the pass rushers we've got this offseason. Paris Ford, tons of talent. Shaka Tony, another guy who has previously been projected to go earlier, but he falls all the way to the sixth, which is great. And we got some of our favorites in Tohoku and Patterson.
Yeah, and yeah, that's pretty much it for the video. Let us know your thoughts on this draft, or share us your favorite prospects that you hope that the Texans will get. And yeah, the draft is in 6 more days, so the time is ticking. Nick Casario is probably going to work. Probably man doesn't get any sleep for sure. Man's probably just looking at film constantly. I'm sure he's probably a film junkie. Let's be honest. But yeah, I think Nick Casario will have a good draft. I trust his decisions. And yeah, I feel like Texans, although we don't have a first or second round pick, I feel like we will be pleasantly surprised with the guys we come out with.
Absolutely, I'm really excited to see what Nick Casario does. And there's really not that much pressure on him. There's been so many accusations and allegations against the Texans this offseason that Nick Casario can kind of just go to the draft, get the guys he wants, and leaves with really no complaints. I wouldn't expect most people to be angry over a third-round pick when that's all we really have. It's our first pick in the draft at 67. He can do a lot with that pick. He could trade up and down. But I think I like sticking at 67 for now with 8 total draft picks. That's pretty darn good once you get past the first and second round. And I'm really intrigued to see who he gets. And I'm kind of hoping he leans towards getting the best player available to add more talent to kind of a draft that needs an infusion of youth.
Yeah, and like we mentioned earlier in our trading up or trading down video, like Nick Casario said, he doesn't really feels like there's so much hit and miss from the 5th round and on. So he obviously, like we mentioned, he could pair up like a bunch of those 6th round picks or maybe 1 or 2, and with that 3rd round pick and move a little late in the second round. That is a possibility if he sees a guy that he likes. But anyways, with that being said, that's it for the video. Let us know your thoughts, and as always, be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. Thank you all for watching. Peace.